What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Investing Bros live show. We've got a lot to talk about today. We have some breaking news coming out this afternoon from Congress, where Gary Gensler was being held and was being interviewed or interrogated, I guess this might be the better way to put it, by Congress. And we got some spicy details from Patrick McHenry. We're going to play a clip here in just a couple of minutes. This could be fantastic news for Bitcoin spot ETFs. We're going to talk about that and a whole lot more. We're going to do some charts, break down some of today's biggest news, some of the stories we covered in this morning's news update. But before we get into that, there's a couple things we have to do. Number one, you got to smash the like button and subscribe to the channel if you are not. And number two, I've got to introduce my fantastic co-host, Mr. T Shroom from down there in Gainesville, Florida. T Shroom, how are we feeling today?
Oh, man. Tim, you know I'm doing better than I deserve, my man. Doing real good. Having my third cup of coffee today and an update on the wedding, my wedding, coming up later next year. We've got a date, June 1st, and we went and we actually toured the chapel today. It's called the Bowman Center, if you want to look it up. It's on UF, beautiful campus, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's
the
very
Bowman
nice.
Center, very nice.
And it's very affordable, too. It's very affordable. Let's look at the the quote of the day, if we could. Tim.
Yeah.
This one comes from, if he was still alive, he'd be one of the oldest people alive. If you do not take an interest in the affairs of your government, then you are doomed to live under the rule of fools. That's Plato. And that may be, unless we've quoted the Old Testament, which I don't think we've quoted on the show, that might be one of the oldest quotes, or at least persons that we've quoted on the show.
Yeah, what was the timeline? I sometimes I mix up the philosophers and when they were alive. Would Pluto have been around and living during the time of New Testament writings?
Oh, way before. Yeah.
Before.
Well, that's the thing is old. The thing is Old Testament. I don't know that it is dated. No. I think it could go back quite a bit, but especially some of the like earlier, like the Genesis. Some of that could date way back. But
Genesis would have still been written like at least 1,000 years after the first story of it.
Yes. Yeah. But this Google search has yielded he was born in 428 to 7 BC. So quite a range there, but it could have been as early as 428 BC, which would have been very, very early on indeed. And I think that would have predated a lot of the Abrahamic writing and origins of their writing. So anyway, what about the quote though?
It was a good quote. Plato spoke well.
You got to take interest in your government, right?
Yeah.
Go to the polls. Remember that Hillary Clinton vine where she was like, "It's me chilling in Cedar Rapids. Pokemon, go to the polls." Back when Pokemon Go was huge. That's okay.
No.
Let me know in the chat. Drop a 1 if you remember.
Again, I've said this. I said this last week. I don't play Pokemon Go because I don't enjoy.
You said that last week?
Yeah, I don't enjoy getting mugged under a bridge. So that's my main draw to not play Pokemon Go.
How about you don't play Pokemon Go because you're like the 99% of people on Earth? You have other stuff.
No, I'm going to stick with not wanting to get mugged under a bridge.
Did you never play Pokemon Go?
Never once.
Oh, you missed out. It was a lot of fun back in the day. It was a lot of fun.
Okay. Yeah. Well, you know what else is a lot of fun, T-Shroom?
What's that?
The fact that Gary Gensler might get fired.
Oh, yes.
And there's actually some steam picking up to it. We got a clip, guys. I don't know if anyone else has seen this already or if you've listened to or watched any of the stuff from the hearing today, but this is a clip we're about to play of Patrick McHenry when he got to speak to Gary Gensler, and he said some very interesting things. Let's play it.
Transparent with Congress regarding your interactions with FTX and Sam Bankman-Fried. That's the investigation we started last Congress. Finally, your lack of responsiveness to this committee's legitimate oversight continues to be unacceptable. And I want to finish here. In February, the committee made multiple requests for documents to the Securities Exchange Commission. This is normal congressional oversight. Yet 7 months later, the committee has not received a single non-public document that was not part of a FOIA production. As I said, our patience is wearing thin. The SEC is not above the law, nor is it unique. Other financial regulators have routinely complied with congressional oversight. So let me be clear. I do not want to be the first chairman of this committee to issue a subpoena to the Securities Exchange Commission. And you should not want to be the first SEC chair to receive a congressional subpoena. Either we find a path forward where the SEC recognizes Congress as a co-equal branch of government and is responsive to our oversight duties, or my option is to issue a subpoena. It's time for you to consider the lasting consequences of your actions, and what that means to the Securities Exchange Commission's reputation long term. While your time in this role may be temporary, the repercussions for your actions may be permanent for the agency. I yield back.
It's powerful stuff.
Yeah. I mean, and it's, again, he does definitely say, I don't want to issue this subpoena. And I don't think you want me to issue this subpoena, but I don't think that that's just a threat. I think that that's a, hey, start actually giving us the information, because if you don't, we'll subpoena. And after that subpoena happens, I don't know if everyone knows exactly how subpoenas happen. They can literally go get almost any information they want. And what I think would happen, T-Shroom, I think that the evidence would be overwhelming that they collect no evidence whatsoever. They have not collected evidence, the SEC, to warrant any of their lawsuits, whether it be the one against Binance, whether it be the one against Coinbase, whether it be, we actually get to look into what they had with Ripple, even though that one's kind of pretty much over at this point. I know technically there's some more details coming out there, but then absolutely the reasons for them to continue to delay and to push off these spot ETFs, I think that there would be evidence they could subpoena and find out, to find the sources of why that's not happening. And of course, there's some great clips from this whole hearing from pro-crypto congressmen and women who were, really pressing Gary Gensler hard. It wasn't just McHenry that kind of grilled him, but he had some support too. What's her name?
Maxine Waters.
Oh, you're doing everything the people need you to do, and you're doing an amazing job. Thank you so much. I'm like, all right, someone should investigate the relationship between Waters and Gary Gensler, because maybe now she needs to get out of that list with old Auntie Beth, Elizabeth Warren. Do they have some money thrown over towards Gary Gensler's pockets? What do you think, T-Shroom?
Well, I think it's just look, we're gearing up for 2024 elections, right? I think it's the Democrats just kind of posturing, okay, Republicans, you're going to take this side of issue X, we're going to take the other side of issue X.
See, maybe, and you know what? There has been more. I want to make sure, because this isn't a political channel. Although when people say, "Oh, well, don't talk about politics at all," guess what? Crypto, guys, has become political. That doesn't mean that you should be pro-Republican or pro-Democrat based off your views. I think more often than not, we're seeing Republicans take the side of pro-crypto, and more often than not, we're seeing Democrats take the side of being anti-crypto. But there absolutely are still people of both parties on other ways. Like some of the congressmen that are in this committee that were grilling Gary Gensler and asking, why have you not approved this ETF yet, are Democrats. So while I do think that there are certain people, T-Shroom, that are kind of positioning themselves for election, and we now have, I think it's like 13 or 14 politicians, senators or congressmen, I can't remember if it's a mixture of the two or or just senators, but they're positioning their campaigns as being anti-Bitcoin, anti-crypto. Crypto's going to ruin the world. But there are still absolutely several Democrats that are very pro-crypto, and so it's not complete yet. If the sentence was that crypto has become a partisan issue, that's not 100% true. And obviously, one of the biggest supporters of Bitcoin is RFK, and he's going to be running as a Democrat for the presidential nomination. I don't know if we assume at this point he's not going to win. If Biden doesn't beat him, and if Biden steps down, I think there's a lot of speculation that maybe Michelle Obama is going to try to take that seat. I don't see RFK beating Michelle Obama to win the Democratic nomination. In fact, the truth is, if I was in the Democratic Party trying to decide, by the way, guys, I'm going to go and oust myself. I think I've done this before. I'm not a Republican or a Democrat. I'm a libertarian. But let's say I was in the Democratic Party and I was trying to decide what's the best way for us to keep the White House. You can say whatever you want, like or hate or whatever. I think Michelle Obama would probably be their best representation. That's my personal opinion. To represent a lot of issues that the Democratic Party as a whole wants to push and do. RFK is a Democrat, but I know like the kind of the term rhino, Republican in name only, you probably could make a decent argument that that would make RFK a dino.
Yep, that's been
A
said.
dino, how would we pronounce it? I don't know. Yeah.
That
Yeah, but no,
makes
there were
sense.
definitely Democrat congressmen and women who were also on the side of McHenry saying, Gensler, you've been irresponsible and this is unacceptable how you've conducted yourself as the chairman of the SEC.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it is definitely true what you say. We're not a
Yeah.
political channel, but every once in a while we have to wade into it. And guys,
Mm-hmm.
2024, expect that, right? So, but come with us. Come with us on this journey. You know, we're both very open-minded people politically. Tim said he's a libertarian. I think that that's probably the category that I would fall in. But I'm registered as one of the parties because I don't want to throw away my vote in the primary. So anyway, well, we can move on. We can that can be a subject for another time.
Well, now we're just gonna have to fight, T-Sherm, because in America, when we disagree with each other politically and we're in different parties, even if we agree on every other issue, just the fact that we're in different parties means
right.
we need to have a good round of fisticuffs.
Mm-hmm.
So
And I'll threaten to subpoena you too as well. So
ooh, well then never mind. Okay, I don't want that.
All right, well, let's go ahead and get into the charts. But before we do, let's get our little factoid. Our factoid elf has just been swinging his legs. Probably got dead leg by now. Let's check it out. U.S. regulators forced Paxos to stop minting what top 30 coin in February 2023? Tim, was it XRP? Was it PaxG? Was it Doge? Or was it BUSD? And what's this? What? Option X says factoid elf holds WorldCoin. I don't know what that is about. Let's just keep that out of here.
Yeah, let's
keep that out of here. That factoid elf is absolutely out of control. But this is a good question.
It is, and the key word here is mining. So it's to stop mining which coin.
You know
so
what? The factoid elf has just whispered in my ear that this should be minting, and we apologize for that. And I'm glad that the answer did not just show just then. It could have easily.
I didn't see it. Okay.
Thank you, Factoid Elf.
Well, let's see. A couple people are saying BUSD. Stop minting what top 30 coin in February? Yeah. Okay. So it wouldn't be Doge. I'm kind of and it's not going to be XRP. I'm kind of torn, but I don't know that much about PaxG, to be honest with you. So I'm gonna ride with the kind of popular vote here. I did have it listed down to B or D, but with how many people are saying D in chat, I'm gonna roll with the people. I'm gonna roll with the audience, T-Shroom.
That's right.
And go with D, BUSD, and we'll find out the right answer.
Right.
Some people, I did see one person say B. So and now two people have said B. So it's absolutely possible, but I think D is
That's right. French Toaster said B. Gia S has said D. Mellow Fellow said D. Ninja Glock said it's D. That's confident. I like that. And didn't even capitalize the it's. It's just
Ninja Glock's confidence is just screaming right now at me that I think that that's the right answer. I trust Ninja Glock. Let's do this, T-shirt. Let's get into the charts, guys. Thank you so much for being here. Already got 70 people in here. Go ahead and smash that like button. This morning, guys, we talked about Bitcoin. And when we did the live show, let's come back over here. When we did the live show, this was the last hourly candle when we were doing the live show. Of course, this one right here, this was the finish, how 8 o'clock finished. Little insight how we are shooting these. We are shooting these videos at about 7:50 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're finishing pretty much right at 8 o'clock so that T-Shroom has time to make sure it gets a thumbnail built, to make sure it uploads correctly. So if you guys are ever watching and wondering, what's the time frame we're doing it, we're doing about 7:50 or so a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we were right here at the end of this candle. We made it back up to 26,800, which is a level. While I'm surprised we made it up that fast, it was a level we talked about earlier this week. And when watching this 26.5, the level that's really important for Friday's options expiry, we said it's very possible we end up getting above 26.5, but we'll start to run into some resistance between 26.8, 27,000, and of course that falling level of resistance we have been in. What did I just grab? I don't know where did I have this? I think I had it somewhere.
Just let it go and hit Command Z if you're on a PC, if you're on a Mac.
Boom. Yeah, I accidentally grabbed it. Thank you, T-Shroom. But here's the thing, guys. Even though we were
pumping, a survey in the
you're really interrupting the TA at the
I'm
moment.
sorry. Continue. Please continue. I'm sorry.
Yeah, bad service. Just kidding. That was very helpful to me, T-Shroom. After rallying this morning, guys, we have literally wiped out every single gain we had this morning. And we're kind of hovering right back where we were at 4 o'clock, 4 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Why is that, guys? Well, it's because this move was mostly just some manipulative trading. It's just the volume was really low. People took advantage of it. Look at that volume spike. And then right as people were getting excited, because people did wake up excited about Bitcoin price, we talked about that in the video this morning, despite the fact that price was climbing as we were shooting it. We said, watch out for some rejection here and a move to the downside. Well, sure enough, within the next couple of hours, that happened exactly. We pulled back down. We've been back to down below 26,100. Now we're hovering right around 26,200. I was listening to a video this earlier today where someone's like, yeah, we're pretty much the same place we were at earlier this week. And that was the same place we were at a couple of weeks ago. And that's the same place we were at a couple of months ago. And that's the same place we were about a year ago. And it's just like, man,
oh, no.
We've done a lot of volatility, but it's true. Bitcoin is not doing anything that special. And it really feels like, man, I might just want to walk away from crypto for a second and just wait
Bitcoin's a
for something real to happen.
stable coin.
Listen, guys, Bitcoin is about to get fun. I put out a short here a little bit ago, shared it over on Twitter, the 3 reasons why I think Bitcoin's about to crash, guys. And we've talked about this before, but let's take a look at it. The first 2 reasons. I talked about this morning, guys, but let's take a look at the Dixie. The Dixie continues to climb, ladies and gentlemen. This is the DXY, the dollar index. It is moving very, very fast. And we haven't even brought up our chart prime yet today. We're definitely going to have to do this. But here's a reason that I'm concerned that the Dixie is not done climbing. And of course, those who know about the Dixie and have used it before, you know that traditionally the Dixie and then what I would call risky assets. And even though you and I, T-Shroom, and everyone here listening would not classify in our life that Bitcoin is a risky asset, it is how the market views it still. Yes, some people say commodity still, but it's considered a risk on asset, even if we don't want to call it that. Well, with that being inverse, if this chart's going up, that means Bitcoin should be going down. And when I look at the momentum here, look at how many bearish indicators, guys, have been flashing here. Look at the oscillators just staying up here above 70. They drop back down, but then immediately shoot back up. This is a great sign of strong bullish momentum. Well, in this case, we're talking about the Dixie chart. If there's strong bullish momentum in the Dixie, what does that mean for Bitcoin? It means there's a lot of negativity coming. And the reality is, despite the fact that Dixie keeps climbing here, Bitcoin, again, climbing this morning was a little peculiar that it would climb with it. But you guys can see when zooming out, if we were to come back here, let's even look at these timelines. Look at the top of Bitcoin back here in July. This is where we topped out around 32,000. We have been setting lower highs, lower lows that whole time. You guys can even see here. Let's take a look at our oscillators here. Look at every time we get a bearish flash since this period. Bearish flash, perfect. Bearish flash, perfect. Bearish flash, perfect. Perfect. The bearish flashes have been perfect, whereas the bullish flashes, sometimes we hit these bullish ones and nothing really happens, and we kind of ignore it, right? That means right now in this kind of secondary trend for Bitcoin, the bears are in full control. And despite the fact that we did rally this morning, guys, we're still setting these lower highs. I think we're about to see some more pressure. The second thing that we talked about in that little short I made, U.S. oil. We talked about this morning as well. Oil is continuing to climb up. Now, I will say, oil, T-Shroom, is a little bit more peculiar, and there's some things I'm looking at on oil that I think oil might actually be about to reverse, and it might not get to the $100 per barrel. Not only is there some things economically in the news kind of happening there, but we are getting this overextension. But as we just talked about, just because you get overextended oscillators doesn't mean it's over and it has to return to the downside. But let's take a look out of the daily chart and let's look at some other things other than just oscillators. So I want to see the daily chart here and just see what it's saying. Come on, load for me, chart. Load for me, chart.
Load.
There we go. All right. So yeah, we kind of ignored a bearish reversal right here. So that's one sign to say, oh, can we keep going? It's really not that. It's this other stuff that I'm looking at that I'm saying, all right, I think we might actually be about to reverse when it comes to our oil charts. Why is that? Well, look at this. Yes, we've been riding and overextended in this bearish wave, but that's not it. We also have come to the last level of really significant resistance on our multi-time frame resistance level right here. Yes, we're a little bit above it here at about $92.64. We're currently hovering around 93. But you can see there's not a lot of room between that and then all the way up here at 112. And also, this is a period of time that nobody likes. Not a single person in the United States or a person that is running the United States likes that this oil price is going up. They're not surprised by this, or they're not like saying like, oh, this is just having nowhere. They have control to reverse this price to the downside. Whereas Dixie, I still believe has room to the upside, T-Shroom, that it can continue to climb. I do think oil could potentially take a cool off, maybe come back down and revisit somewhere in this $85 range, maybe come back down to this trend assistant. You can see the daily dynamic reactors way down here. Let me remove some of the noise here on the charts, and even kind of take a look at some other indicators here with oil. If we do kind of top out here and move to the downside, don't be surprised to see us come back down 0.382 back down to this top around that $85 point, 0.5 around $80, and then maybe even revisiting the golden pocket down here. It's really not in anyone's interest for the oil price to continue to climb up to the upside, but you do have to see those reversals actually take action before you can really have any type of real confirmation that's going to happen. You got to wait for the actual reversal. So that's a reason, guys. Right now, Bitcoin. I don't like the Bitcoin chart. I told you guys even before looking at oil and Dixie, I feel like we're gonna see the price continue to toy with us this week, but that options expiry that happens on Friday with that 26,500, just expect price to be down here, and then when it gets official, the billions of dollars. Remember, there's like $5 billion involved in this options expiry. That's gonna be a lot of pressure. This is one of the biggest options expiry events we've had recently. Could bring a lot of bearishness into the space. I'm interested to see what happens with this subpoena and how that would affect the price of Bitcoin, T-Shroom. But as a whole, seeing the things that trade inversely go to the upside, it makes me kind of pretty bearish, T-Shroom, about what we're going to see on Bitcoin. And of course, you guys know with Bitcoin going to the downside, I'm believing that we're going to see Ethereum pretty much do the exact same thing. We've already come down to these smaller time frames. Ethereum got up to our higher level. This was a level we talked about earlier this week. I thought that maybe Ethereum could make a push up towards its options expiry, but I was like, it's going to be pretty hard. Some of you guys remember me talking about this. It's going to be hard to get above 1631, which was a very significant Fibonacci level. I'll go ahead and pull that up here as well. And it turns out TA works, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if you knew that, but TA does work. We rejected right at that level, which is the golden pocket. And now we find ourselves back down on Ethereum as well. Of course, Ethereum has a harder job than Bitcoin to get above for that Friday option expiry because it needs to get to 1650. Didn't even get there today. We stopped about $20 short. But that's pretty significant when it comes to the price of Ethereum. And then you go right there, boom, we're in a bearish trend, ladies and gentlemen. These bearish reversals have been perfect calls, and we just got another one here on the 4-hour chart. So not liking really what I'm seeing with Ethereum. Cardano, I think we talked about this morning. It's got its own bearish indicator kind of going on here. Couldn't even get back up to its level of significant Fibonacci, and it's dealing with what we would call a bearish broadening wedge pattern right now, where yes, we're broadening out, and yes, technically these formations wouldn't be necessarily as strong as say a symmetrical triangle, or maybe a lot of other triangles are things like falling wedges or rising wedges. But more often than not, whichever way, when you have this pattern, I grabbed the wrong tool. Whichever way you come into this pattern, you often continue out of it in the same direction. So we're doing this. A lot of times you end up see the price do this. Well, what happens if we break out of this pattern? What would that look like? Let's go ahead and delete this. And I want to go ahead and grab my tool here. This is the length of our first leg of this. Well, let's kind of zoom out here. Let's take down our oscillators. Let's kind of go over here. What would this price action look like? Let's say we break somewhere more than likely down here. We're looking, that one's sending us down towards 22 cents. Well, I think it gets even worse than that, of course. You guys know I'm still kind of a believer. Some people are more bearish than I am, and I do have the option for that. But like when I go out to the weekly chart, I'm still heavily looking at this zone right here. High end 18 cents, low end about 14 cents. You go back historically, These are pretty significant levels. You can see back in November of 2020, this was a level of resistance, the 18 cents. This 14-cent zone has a lot more to do with some of the former resistance levels back here. And when I'm looking at what Bitcoin could still do, dropping below 20,000, when I'm looking at what Ethereum can do, probably dropping back towards 1,300, I think it's pretty good chance that Cardano does not able to continue to support this 24-cent support level, and that move down to 18, 14 cents, somewhere in this little box right here. I think we're going to see Cardano's price get to it. There might be, I think there's a chance, T-Shroom, there's one coin that I'm looking at in the crypto market that maybe, just maybe, I'm not saying they won't retrace at all, but Link has been on a different playing field than any other crypto coin chart this whole bull and bear market. Yeah, they fell in a pretty similar motion to the big falls, but Chainlink, it didn't officially set the bear market bottom until here in June of 2023, but look at what it did all the way back in May of 2022. That was way sooner than any other coin getting down to its key level, and then we've just been trading sideways. Someone was even asking earlier in our Discord about what I thought Bitcoin was saying in terms of its Wyckoff method. Well, I don't really see Bitcoin playing out a traditional Wyckoff method right now, but you know what I do see playing out a Wyckoff method? Chainlink. And I don't think it's over yet, and I do think we'll see Chainlink possibly come back down into these zones. We'll get our spring and then move to the upside. But with some of the things that it's doing with interoperability, some of the things that it's being used for with institutions, we might see Chainlink be one of the few cryptos that maybe doesn't fall as fast as Bitcoin, maybe doesn't even fall the same way that Bitcoin does. Whereas the rest of the space, T-Shroom, I really still see, I see them kind of tailing ahead of and maybe sometimes a little behind Bitcoin's broader movements. Chainlink, on the other hand, kind of in a world of its own.
Yeah, check this out really quick. I've actually got a monthly chart of Chainlink pulled up, and you can see here it's about to have a really big bear cross on the 1 month down here on the MACD. Very big. Now Bitcoin
bull
on
cross,
on month, bull cross. It attempted that, but it kind of fizzled out there on the 1 month. So it had the cross back here in June, but then it kind of, like you can see in the MACD histograms there, they kind of fizzled out. So a little bit of a bummer there on Link, but I did see some other analysts talking about that monthly bull cross there for Link.
We have two comments here. We have a super chat, and then Matt asked a good question. I'm going to actually, I'm going to look at Matt's question first. But Elliot Locke, I see you. I see your super chat. Matt asked, how did Link do during the 2018-2019 bear market? The only thing I would say, Matt, I am looking at 2018-2019. Let's look at the log chart because it's got a lot of things going on here. 2018-2019. All right, so 2018 right here. This would have pretty much been no. Let me look at this real quick. Bitcoin. I gotta remember the exact date. What was the bottom of the Bitcoin bear market? Was it January of 2019? So 2018, that would have been the top. January of 18 was on its way down from the top. Let's go back over to Link. Look at these same timelines. Come on now. Let's go. There we go. When I look at what's happening here, December 17. It's kind of like a mini zone. We had just really started Link 2018. Yeah, it kind of outpaced the upward movement of Bitcoin, if we're being honest. Look at this. All right. So, man, I got to let's do this. I don't want to keep going back and forth here. Yep. Let's just go over here and look at Bitcoin. Look at that macro chart. I'm going to go out here, pull this down. Let's go out to the daily chart. Was I on the daily or weekly with this one? Daily. Okay, we're good. All right, so let's go to Bitcoin back here, 2018, 2019. Kind of look at some dates, go back and forth between them. You guys can see we kind of started this bullish push in March 2019, topped out around June 19, came back down around December 2019, kind of bottoming out, and then really didn't start our bullish momentum till like September of 2020. When I bounce back over to Link, let's look at some of those same time frames. July 2019, so we topped out, but look, it did not take anywhere near as much of a pullback as Bitcoin did. In fact, it kind of finished. Yeah, it finished. See, remember I said Bitcoin's bottom was more like December. I guess it kind of bottomed somewhere there, but Chainlink back in 2018, 2019, Matt, had a different move than Bitcoin. So I think that's a really good observation. The only thing I would say, though, is that what we're seeing happen right now with Chainlink, one of the reasons why I think it's doing something different is because of some news coming out, because it is being utilized heavily by institutions that are getting into the blockchain world. It's got some fundamental adoption purposes that are making it stand out from the rest of the space. That's kind of what I'm looking at right now. Eric Walt says, yep, Tim's aunt is sleeping. Okay, well, I'm not going to finish that one. Eric, I give you a blue wrench and you then comment that. I love you, though. It's okay. Back to the super chat, though. Elliot Locke asked, you think Gary opening his mouth, which means he's lying, had something to do with the rejection and ADA needs to go lower. I need to buy more. All right, so that's two different things. First of all, yes, ADA, I don't know about needs to go lower. I think the right way I'm going to say that is going to go lower, and I'm absolutely going to take advantage of that and buy more myself. As far as Bitcoin going down because of Gary Gensler, I'm going to say unrelated. I honestly, let's just even look at this. I'm going to zoom back in here, guys. Sometimes, like, people got really excited when they saw this pump, but let's really be honest and take this into consideration, guys. We had a 2.3% pump in Bitcoin, and people are going to get excited. That right there, the fact that people were excited about a 2.3% pump is a testament to how boring Bitcoin has been in terms of price levels for the last couple of months. That the fact that we were like, oh, do you think that 2% in Bitcoin, ladies and gentlemen, is just simple Wednesday trading for good traders, whales and institutional traders who understand the psychology of trading and know how to do things at the right moment to make retail investors freak out. I don't think that you really could blame this on any story or any input. This is literally a move that is just a good experienced trader said, hey, we were pinched. We hadn't had a lot of movement recently. It was time to do something special. I mean, the hourly chart, I want to see if Bollinger Band. Yeah, okay. Bollinger Bands had gotten really constricted here on the hourly chart. Go ahead and notice on the hourly chart, all this app happened within just a couple of candles. This is pretty classic trading manipulation. They saw it was ripe. They entered some longs. The trades went up. People woke up this morning and saying, oh my goodness, Bitcoin's climbing. Let me buy in. Oh, that's the perfect time. If I just entered a long down here, take my profits and trade against those entries looking like a short, and let me easily, with this high volume, drop the price right back to where it was. We can blame Gary Gensler for a lot of things, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not blaming him for this little rally and then dump off this morning. This is just traders being traders and retail not knowing what they're doing.
Yeah. When Mullet asked, sorry if you answered this already, who exactly is going to fire Gensler? Well, the short answer would be Congress and then the Senate and then Biden. But what we're reporting on today is the beginnings of that. And there already has been, some rumblings, and even from the lips of folks who are elected in Congress. But today, at a congressional hearing, Congressman Tom Emmers used the S word, subpoena, which would be a legal first step, not just a threat. Hey, we're going to fire you. It's, hey, we're going to take a step to try and obtain through the judicial system evidence that you are working counter to what the Congress has endowed you with, and the whole reason that the SEC exists.
Well, I think that the point that people need to understand, why are we saying, like, potentially is he finished? Could this lead towards a firing? Well, first of all, hashtag fire Gary Gensler has been around for a while now, guys. Congress has never in its history, in the video we played earlier, if you want to go back and watch it, he talked about no one from Congress has never subpoenaed the chairman of the SEC.
Yep.
And he's pretty much saying, I don't want to be the first person to do that, and you don't want to be the first chairman of the SEC to get that done. Yeah. But you have not been outright and forthcoming with information, because, like, where it works right now is the SEC works for the government. Like, they don't vote it on, but they have to report to this congressional hearing. They have to report to a congressional oversight committee. And what he's pointing out is they have not been forthright. They have the opportunity to be open and submitting all their evidence and showing their paperwork, but they don't have to. They're not forced to. They just can. And the fact that Congress has been asking for the evidence and asking for this paperwork, and there keeps being excuses and just all this chaos happening from Gary Gensler, what McHenry's kind of getting at is like, all right, we have been nice and we've been asking, but if you don't start presenting your stuff, we're going to get to a place where we're going to activate our right to subpoena you and force our way into this paperwork. Well, guess what happens? They're not going to just get the paperwork they're looking for. They're going to get way more access than the SEC absolutely wants them to. They might be able to uncover a lot of corruption. We've had reports in the last couple of months. People from within the SEC are turning on Gary and kind of outwardly, putting out some of the garbage, some of the laundry that's happening within the SEC. A subpoena would allow Congress to go in and investigate all of that stuff. What would that mean for Maxine Waters? What would that mean for Elizabeth Warren? What would that mean for evidence that maybe we find deeper connections? This is another thing he was grilled on today. The relationship he had with Sam Bankman-Fried and FTX has always been very muddy and unclear, but it stinks, and people know it stinks. Well, a subpoena would allow them to actually go in there and find out that information. Gary Gensler does not want that. Elizabeth Warren does not want that. Maxine Waters does not want that. But if he doesn't start playing ball, he being Gary Gensler, McHenry has the right to issue that subpoena. And that, to me, would be the first step of them finding the evidence they would need to go ahead and use their congressional powers to say, Gary, you are relieved of duty. You are no longer chairman of the SEC. And then I would love to nominate Hester Peirce. Hester Peirce, I think, would be a great replacement for Gary Gensler. I think you'd have to make. I don't know if you would say she's pro crypto, but she's definitely not against it. She seems to be more of a common sense, logical thinking person. I think that's what you kind of want to see.
Yeah. I think Wall Street still would have quite a string to pull of who was going to get in that seat. I doubt it would be super crypto focused, but maybe.
I just think if Congress is pushing, this is a good conversation, T-shirt, because
it is a great
Congress is the one that holds the power. Congress, this congressional committee, is the one that has the power to fire and hire. And if one of their reasons for firing Gary Gensler is his incompetence, his lying, his hiding of details, and his witch hunt mentality against crypto, it might behoove them. I don't know what kind of authority, or what kind of influence Wall Street has over them, but it would behoove them to kind of go the opposite direction and have someone like Hester Peirce. That's my personal opinion. I don't know, but her name is definitely one of the ones that is floated out there as being the possible replacement. And if it was her, that would be very good for the crypto space.
Yep, absolutely. Well, a couple of things here in chat to highlight. Crux of Crypto in the chat. What is up, Crux? Hope you're doing well. And then also, Bully Barry said, I like the afternoon stream. When did these start? Tim, I think we're in the third afternoon
day,
video.
Yeah.
This is the third one.
Welcome, Bully Barry.
Yeah. So we're here on the afternoon. We no longer do a live show in the morning, but you may think that we do because we premiere about a 10-minute video that is a cap of everything important affecting your crypto portfolio, and that does still go live at 9 a.m. And it kind of looks like a live stream, but we're not actually doing it when it looks like we're doing it. So we've got a factoid. We have concluded our TA. We might go back to the charts, but we've concluded our TA. Let's see what the factoid elf has had for us. And those of you just joining, don't worry, I'll go back over the factoid here. U.S. regulators forced Paxos to stop minting what top 30 coin in February of 2023? Is it XRP? Is it PaxG? Yeah. Is it Doge? Is it BUSD? Or is it X? Factoid Elf holds WorldCoin, which we're not going to talk about that. Guys, the answer was D, BUSD. So if you got that right, then you are a #1 scholar, which is a new title that I just came up with in that moment. But yes, let's take a look here. So BUSD is now currently, according to CoinMarketCap, it's still in the top 30. Even though Paxos was ordered to stop minting it. I don't think it was the sole minter, which BUSD, by the way, what is that? Binance USD. That is the stablecoin of Binance. But we learned back in February when this headline came out that Binance actually was not the one minting it. It was Paxos, which was public, but it wasn't like super popular, wasn't well-circulated knowledge. Stablecoin issuer Paxos will stop minting new Binance USD tokens at the direction of the New York Department of Financial Services. It was reported that the SEC had done it, but it was actually this entity that did it, that regulator. So lots of fun with the factoid elf. It's never a dull moment, is it, Tim? We've got a lot of stories to cover. We want to keep on chugging?
Yeah, we got some chat here. Bully Barry said, good for you guys. Sorry about all the drama you've been dealing with, Tim. I always appreciate your takes. Keep grinding. Thank you so much, Bully Barry. And yeah, I mean, there is a lot of drama, but I feel very good about just the whole industry starting to move forward slowly but surely. Crypto is going to do crypto stuff no matter what the stories are. So I like to keep focused here. And thank you so much for your support, Bullyberry. We got a super chat from Eric Wallen saying, Tim, I don't know. Is this like you're challenging me here, Eric? Like I'm confused on this. Who was the custodian of BUSD? I don't know if this is a trick question because we just talked about how it was Binance USD. So the custodian would be Binance. But I don't know if you're trying to come up with a different thing.
Custodian is a very strange word to use there in that question, Eric. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, because that's what's kind of throwing me off is the word custodian, because obviously it's a Binance thing. It was created by Binance for Binance.
Because technically, if Tim gave me some BUSD and said, "Hey, can you hold this for me?" then I would be his custodian for that Binance. If he gave me the keys to like $1,000 of Binance USD,
he's saying the correct answer is Paxos. So
okay,
I'll believe it. I remember the story of BUSD getting a lot of negativity thrown around it, but I don't remember the issuance of Paxos. But
I think the reason the Factoid Elf unearthed this factoid is because BUSD is still in the top 30. That's kind of the point here, guys, and easily in the top 100. All right, let's go ahead and get into some of the stories here. We've talked quite a bit about the major breaking news, which is from today. Gary Gensler went before Congress and got his fanny handed to him, really, with a new word that's come onto the scene, subpoena, which could be the potential ending of his career. Well, there's a lot more going on. Let's get into it. Crypto exchange Kraken to explore stock trading, says Bloomberg. It will be open in the U.S. and the U.K. If they go through with it, this would make Kraken the first crypto exchange to explore trading options outside crypto assets. Bloomberg reported that it plans to launch the service as soon as 2024. And I believe that is it. I mean, other than Robinhood does this, Wealthsimple does this, and by this I mean they offer crypto and stock. So that's pretty exciting. The Kraken would get into that.
It's the reversal. I mean, Robinhood and others that, they were stock trading sites that now kind of dabbled in crypto. Kraken, obviously, crypto exchange. Could they start dabbling in stocks?
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right, Tim.
I wonder what that means, though, Tisha. Maybe you know this. Because obviously we don't have regulation that's very clear for crypto exchanges. That's one of the reasons we're having so many problems right now. I'd love to get that. Them doing this and exploring stock trading, there is some pretty clear regulation for stock trading. So do you know how significant and what kind of do you anticipate this being a smooth transition for Kraken, or do you think it's going to be pretty complicated?
I think, well, here's the thing is like Robinhood and then this other app, Wealthsimple, have charted this territory, right? They've already gone in and they've operated legally for, more than 3 months, right? So I think it's probably a copy paste of just operations, and even the code to just be compliant with U.S. regulators. I don't know about the UK. I have no idea, but I would imagine it's pretty smooth. I don't think Kraken would be coming out with this if they didn't anticipate it to be smooth. If I was Kraken CEO,
I think maybe there's simple copy and paste and the hiring of a couple more lawyers to protect themselves.
Absolutely. Well, it's like, hey, Robinhood lawyer, you want to get paid a little more? We want to launch a whole new set of assets that we'd like to trade and take fees on. We can afford it. Come over here, come over to our boat and build what you built over at Robinhood.
By the way,
I don't know that's what happened, but
before we transition next one, I want to start by saying, Matt, we love you. He says it's my birthday tomorrow, so we are going to wish him a happy birthday tomorrow during the show.
Very nice.
But Matt C, you're asking for a present it's just too wealthy. It's just too rich for me to be able to deliver. He said, will you shave your beard for me? I can trim it. And if you want, I can send it to your address and you can hold some Tim beard trimmings. But the hashtag beard be gone from CBD study is a fake news. That's a fake hash. It's FUD. Someone asked earlier, T-Shroom, which is more likely for us to see T-Shroom grow out his Goldilocks or for Tim to shave his beard?
Yeah,
I think it's T-Shroom to grow out his Goldilocks.
Yeah, we'll see. We shall see. Well, there's a lot more stories to get to, so let's keep going, and let's make it happen. 10-year Treasury yields reach level not seen in more than 15 years, guys. We're not going to go super deep into this, but there is definitely evidence for this. You can take a look here. I heard this word for the first time this morning. The disinversion of the yield curve is happening. And Eric Wallen's been talking about it a lot in the Discord, which there's a free link to in the description. But as you can see here, guys, look at the 10-year is at 4.6. So this is a pretty significant peak. Well, very zoomed in here, but take a look. I mean, it's going, man. It's zooming higher here, and as you can see, it hasn't been this high in a very, very long time. So it like the wherever it's getting this data from, even it switches to like these little green pixie dust back here. So you don't see the levels that we've been at until exactly 2007, so 15 years ago. So not surprised that CNBC got the timing right on that. Here's some other story. Meta announces a new Quest 3 VR headset as Apple competition looms. We'll get to this one in just a second. Tim, I want to get your take on this. I know I just zoomed away from it, but this treasury yield story is important. Why? Why, as crypto traders, do we care about treasury yields? Well, because if I can go get a 5% return over 10 years, it might be something that I'm more attracted to go do that, right? And it maybe you might say, well, the same type of investors who would buy crypto are not, they're never going to consider buying treasuries. Well, not so fast, because it can still affect crypto prices. How? Well, people who would be inclined to buy equities like Apple, Amazon, Google, or even the Walmarts and Home Depots of the world, they might look at the U.S. equities market and say, I don't know, maybe I'll just buy the fixed income 5% and just stick in there. Well, what does that do? That takes liquidity from the equities market, and there's a correlation between the Nasdaq and Bitcoin, and that would have a negative effect, right? So that's really the cut and dry analysis of that. Tim, if you have anything else, I would like to hear it.
Well, yeah, I think that is going to have a short-term impact. Guys, nothing's going to stop Bitcoin's price from going up and to the right. It's going to happen. There's going to be moments of pain that stifle it, but it's going to happen. What I thought was interesting on this issue, though, our good friend Caleb Franzen made a post last week that I thought was very interesting. He said, all right, because we were talking, the whole thing came out, October's going to restart student loan debt, right? People are going to start repaying their student loans. But then this treasury yield is coming out extremely positive. So he's like, all right, let's say I let's say I had $10,000. I think he might have even said he had $10,000 of student debt he was paying off.
I think he did.
And he's just doing it correctly, right? But he's like, okay, here, let's just think about this logically, guys. If I have $10,000 to pay in student loan debt, why don't I just take $10,000 and invest in these U.S. treasuries and net my return and make payments with it? Because the interest rates for student loan debt was something like 3% or something. So he's like, actually, in reality, I will end up making money long term. If it's a safe way to pay off my student loan debt over the next 10 years or whatever, and I'll end up making some money back from it rather than having to pay that to the government. I was like, that's pretty intelligent, pretty smart. Caleb Franzen knows a thing or two. Cannot wait to have him back on the show here, probably sooner rather than later.
Yep.
But I don't know what this time. Like, I haven't got to talk to him probably in a week or so. So he doesn't even. I don't even know if he knows we go in the afternoon now. I don't know if that throws a wrench into his ability to do it or not.
Yeah, we shall see. It might be better for him. I mean, he lives in Europe now, like Romania or something like that. So
he's coming back at some point, at least to chill in the U.S. for a second. But I know he's having a good time out there in Europe.
Yeah, absolutely he is. Well, before, speaking of other people who exist, Crypto Archie is going to be in our X Spaces tonight at 5:45. So very shortly after this stream is over, 5:45, Crypto Archie is going to be joining us. And he is in Dubai, where it is almost, I think it's 1 o'clock in the morning, or it's like midnight now. So he's going to be staying up. Maybe he's taking a nap. But he's going to be jumping on, and we're going to be talking about probably more DGen picks. We're also going to have a special guest that you'll see when we get there. And it's going to be a lot of fun. Another thing to mention here, Decrypt.tax is bringing you this show today. We couldn't do it without them. And you pay taxes if you're in the U.S. to the IRS, right? And you want to be compliant. Decrypt.tax is going to be able to help you out regardless of whether or not you own or have traded crypto in 2023, right? So get it right. Go with Decrypt.tax and tell them we sent you. Tell them the Investing Bros sent you. If you click on the link in our description, then you will actually get 25% off those tax services. But Tim, do they handle only your crypto side? Because I don't want to have to deal with two different tax guys. No, they handle both. So if you got a W-2, right, and you got a bunch of Bitcoin that you took profit on, they're going to be able to handle both of that. You own a business, they can help you with that too, right? Did you inherit 5 homes in 2023? Yeah. They can help you with all that kind of stuff. There is no end to the magical services that can be provided to you by Decrypt.tax. Tell Ernest we sent you. We like Ernest. He's a great guy. Links in the description.
Yeah,
All
we have
right.
a very hot topic in chat. T-shirt.
Go
Let's take
for
a
it.
quick
Let's do it.
second. Quick second to engage with chat. I know we have more stories. You guys know there's nothing that troubles T-shirt more than finishing the show with stories left undiscussed.
It's true.
It's one of his number one fears in the world. T-shirt, this question is for you. What does my beard smell like? Is the question people are asking. I don't know if they're trying to address this to Taylor, my wife, who's not in chat, so she's not answering that question. But you've been in the same room as me. Does my beard have a certain musk to it?
If the only choices that I can pick are from today's factoid, then I would say that your beard smells like Doge. That would be my pick, Tim.
So would that be like a dog? You're saying my beard smells like a dog?
A Doge is a little different. It's on the blockchain. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's a little cleaner.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, speaking of things that exist, Meta announces new Quest 3 VR headset as Apple competition looms. Guys, check out this graphic that was made, I guess today, how the headsets compare. This is Apple's. It's almost $3,500. I guess it is $3,500 after tax. But Meta Quest 3 is $500. Now you might say, T. Shroom, why do I care about this? Well, you should, because the metaverse is a big bet that Mark Zuckerberg has taken, and a lot of folks in crypto think that the metaverse narrative is not going away, and it's going to be one of the bigger narratives in the bull market. I don't know if I fully agree with that, but we'll find out tonight with Crypto Archie on the X Spaces. Now, Tim, are you going to be journeying into the metaverse and buying one of these goggle interfaces so that you can dress up as a digital elf, and go slay dragons? Or
I'll tell you what, the chances of me doing that would be higher than me shaving my beard.
Okay.
Probably lower though than me investing in a meme coin.
Gotcha.
So somewhere in between me buying a meme coin. Oh, we're playing the video again. Somewhere between me buying a meme coin and me shaving my beard is the probability I would give me getting a mask and putting it in the metaverse.
Okay.
It's not great odds, but it's not zero. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing about the VR masks is that when you put them on, you're going to smell your beard. You
that's
and me
part
both.
of my
anyone.
My fear is really that's part of the reason why I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
By the way, shout out to Crypto Seth in chat.
Crypto Seth.
Here's the thing, and we're gonna start bringing this back to speaking of Crypto Seth and speaking of Archie. I definitely want to get back to doing some more stuff with the gem hunters, and I'm looking at a lot of things. Like I'm telling you guys right now, we're getting close. We're past the bottom of the bear market for Bitcoin, but I think there's gonna be certain coins, and I think things like NFTs. We're getting close if we aren't already at the bottom with some of that stuff. We're getting close. My desire to finally get into an NFT. I don't know if people thought I was joking. I want to in the next couple of months own at least one or two NFTs. All right. So I want to do my research there. I want to bring people on, talk about it. I want people, I'm not easily convinced. Again, I'm not the biggest NFT believer. So people really have to make their case. But I have a portfolio of crypto, and I don't think I have a single coin outside of the top. I'm going to say 100 because one of them, I think it might be like 70th or something. I don't remember. But man, I've been watching a lot of Archie and Seth's content.
Yeah.
And guess what? Yeah, when you're getting to degen content, there's risks. There's absolutely risks involved. But that's why you need people like Seth and Archie to kind of help navigate that space. So I want to do a lot more with them, ask a lot of good questions to get more involved with some degen stuff. Crypto Seth says Tim is coming to the dark side. Kind of what it is. Crux says DZ's rubbing off on Tim. No, because again, when I first came to Hit Network, I remember my first week. There was a lot of talk about some meme coins, and by the way, DZ made a lot of money on these meme coins. But
meme coins are way different.
He mean mugged me because I didn't want to get involved with meme coins, and I still remember that. But I still don't think I'm going to get involved with meme coins at all. I think that's where I'm going to kind of draw the line of saying that's not something very likely for me to get involved with. But some of these degen coins and stuff that I've seen Archie and Seth talk about, I'm like, all right, there's some stuff to it. And I also love their approach as to how they get into it and what their logic is. I have a long way to learn and grow with them. And the amount of time and attention and research they put in is just astronomical. So again, I want to do a lot more with them, start building my degen portfolio. Don't know if it's going to be worth, like, I don't know what percentage of my entire portfolio that would look like, but it's going to hold a non-zero number is, I guess, what I'm really trying to say.
I'll tell you what, I'll give you a DGen pick right now. This is just blindly. I did do my own research, but this is a DGen coin, market cap below 30 million. So that's really low, guys, if you consider what Bitcoin's at. So GFall, I bought it a little bit today. Not financial advice, just a little bit of fun. What do they do? Well, it's gaming for a living, so they obviously something to do with games. They're on the Binance Smart Chain, which is one of the things I like, because then you're not paying out the butt in fees on the Ethereum chain.
You don't want to pay out the butt. That's a lesson many of us have learned the hard way.
That's right. That is right. So, yeah, we're going to probably be getting into maybe Crypto Seth. You can tell us whether or not that's a good pick. I'm sure I could predict the answer that you'd have for that. But yeah, we'll be talking about a lot that and more in the X Spaces tonight. Tim, we've got time. We've got 2 more clips pulled up here from the congressional hearing. Do you want to watch one of them that is only a minute long?
Let's do it. Yeah, let's watch it. And then we're closing out here in just a couple of minutes. But let's watch one of those clips.
Political and social agenda, and I think abusing your role in the authority of the SEC as cover. So, I think fundamentally the SEC Stabilization Act would remove the role of chairman. It would preserve the current commissioners, but it would add a 6th commissioner. So there would be no more than 3 from any one political party. And so that would provide a path that would make the SEC do what you're avoiding. Frankly, you're front-running Congress, you're front-running the courts, you're front-running even the own administration, and no one has held you to account for that. I mean, I wish the Biden administration would say you're fired, but the list of folks they need to do that for is long. Congress hopefully will with the SEC Stabilization Act. I yield.
Gentleman's time's expired.
So you get a little bit of the same sentiment there. I'm
telling you, it was a full out team effort to grill and to go after Gary Gensler. Here's the thing. Elliot Locke gave another super chat, and we have a bad track record of sometimes slipping. But here's the thing, Elliot. Doesn't that just build more suspense? Where else could you go where you get this much talking time that we say your name with these super chats? And it's a win-win. But he said FTX customer bar claimed date is September 29th. Customer bar claim date is September 29th. Okay. Just got this email from one of my exchanges. Where can I buy fractional oil shares outside of Robinhood? T-Shroom, that is for sure a question for you.
Where can you buy fractional? Well, I mean, you can get a regular brokerage like TD Ameritrade or Simple Wealth. Look, I've heard of it a long time ago. Someone, I think actually, I want to say in the Army told me about that, but it's very similar. I think Webull too. I think you can buy stocks on Webull. I don't remember, but I don't know why you wouldn't use Robinhood if you live in the U.S. If you live outside the U.S., then I could not answer that question. But the other thing too is you said fractional oil shares. I know what you're asking, but what I would say, and I tell everybody this, is that the energy markets are not simple. I mean, we're in crypto, which is very volatile, right? But the thing about oil markets is that it's just different, right? And you need to understand when you're stepping into a different market, it's going to be a harder mode. Now, if you came from the energy markets and are making the transition to crypto, I'd say the same thing. Is to be careful because these markets are not going to trade the same way. The mentality is totally different. The average age, IQ, and trade mentality is different per market. Crypto, folks who have been trading the crypto market, they kind of have a feel for what the emotional trader might make on a minute chart, an hour chart, even a daily chart in some cases, right? On the energy side, it's a totally different group of people who are trading, right? It's in some sense it's heads of state, right, of countries like Saudi Arabia or Russia that are moving the oil markets days before they make an announcement that they're going to cut supply, right, or they're going to start cutting into their foreign reserve, their reserves, their sovereign reserves. So it's not simple to make the switch over to the energy markets. I'm not saying don't do it, but just realize that it's a totally different group of people that are trading over there, and I don't. I've really only gotten burned in the energy markets. I've made a little bit of money, but I've definitely lost way more money in natural gas and oil than I've made. So be careful. And just because something seems obvious, oil prices are going higher, they're going to keep going higher. It's just like, you don't know, like the Gary Genslers of the oil market, you don't know the name of, right? But the people in that market know the name of, right? And they follow very closely. So it's one thing I learned is that I was trading natural gas and I realized, man, I don't even know that there was a difference between the European prices and the American prices. So I was way off course, and that's the same thing of an energy trader or a forex trader coming into crypto and not realizing that there's a difference between Polygon, Matic, and Bitcoin, thinking that they're basically the same thing, right? So that's kind of the approach that I would have.
Yeah. Well, hey, it is 5 o'clock. We're going to wrap it up. We want to leave every single show with just a little nugget. Because again, for anyone who might be new here, thank you so much for being here. Hit the like button, hit subscribe. But with Investing Bros, we don't want to just leave you guys in a place where you're better with your investments. We want to leave people in a place where they're better with their life in general. And I want to encourage people out there. I don't know if maybe, there's 2 people need to hear this, 1 person, maybe 7 of you. I think that might be the max. I don't know. I'm just kidding. I want to encourage you. I think everyone has something in their life right now that they want to apply a discipline or they want to do something, but they're really struggling to do it. And I heard this from a friend the other day. You will not see anything in your life change until you change it. What that means is a lot of people want to see differences happen. They want to have these new things happen, but they're always looking and waiting for something else in their life to change. And the truth is that will never happen. If you want to wake up earlier to work out, it's not going to get easier to wake up. That's just not going to happen. Even if you go to bed earlier, a lot of times it doesn't get easier to wake up. The only thing that is different between you being able to work out in the morning and not is you choosing to go ahead and get up out of bed even if you do not want to. If you're wanting to get into trading, the only thing that's going to get you into trading is you actually opening up an exchange and trading. The only thing that's going to change if you're struggling with something in your life is if you actually stop waiting for the things around you to change and make the change happen yourself. Again, I don't know what people are going through. I don't know what you guys are trying to get done, but I want to encourage you. That first step might stink. That first step might be hard. That first step might be discouraging, but with persistence and your desire to say, if I want to see the change, I have to do this myself. Give it a matter of time and you will be in love with the progress you've made. And you will look back and say that I am so grateful I went through that season of uncomfortability. And now I see that change I wanted. Guys, go be a change in everything in your life and the people around you. With that said, we love you. We'll see you here in about 45 minutes in our spaces over on X. With that said, you guys have a fantastic evening.
Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots stack bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros. Army pipe, lethal on trade. Entries and exits, worthy of praise. Tim, the professor of the TA. Shout it out loud on the PA. T-Shrooms News got the word. Doing better than what he deserves. Beamer, leave no evidence. Soon fly coop with his dividend. Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots stack bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros.